All right, I think we're live. Give me 1 second just to get our link, and then we will get started. Even if Veronica's not here, that's okay. All right, just as a reminder, this is Introductory Performance Seminar for November 8th. This is the 4:30 edition. And today what we're going to be doing is we'll have two performers, maybe three. And let me go ahead and share my screen. You guys already know how this class works, so there's not much for me to explain. But those who are watching, each of them is going to be playing their piece in the first half. And in the second half, we're going to be talking about how to make these pieces better. All right, let me pass it over to Miss Thara, who's first today. And Thara, whenever you're ready, you can announce your name and piece.
Okay. Hi, my name is Star, and today I'm going to be playing A Winter Tale.
All right, very beautiful performance. Really nice. I like the dynamics, especially. That's like my favorite part of what you did. Of course, it was accurate, but the dynamics was so like very. It was very much like a winter tale. That was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice. We'll come back to it and make it a little bit better in the second half. But for now, let's keep moving forward. Let me pass it over to Kritash.
Hi, my name is Kurtas, and I'll be playing Dance in F Major.
All right, very nice. Was that from memory, or you were using the music when you were
That
playing?
was from memory.
It's from memory. You weren't looking forward at the music, or you don't have music in front of you.
I have the Winter Tale, but that
Oh, interesting. Oh, that's right, because you're going to record that soon too. Okay, very good. This is very good from memory. So we're going to talk about this in just a moment. Well done, Kritash. Really nice. Okay, let's start with Miss Dara. So we'll get into the second half now. Uh, oh yes, sorry, you had a question?
I also played it from memory.
Yeah, I know that you play from memory. Yeah, yeah. I could tell from your eyes they were down. Um, okay, but thank you for confirming. Okay, so like I mentioned, what I really liked about, and both of you guys had this really well, was that the dynamics in your performance were really well fitted to the story of the music. So, for example, Kritash played an upbeat piece, and his dynamics were more upbeat. That's really good. Tara, you played more of a relaxed, somber piece or like a sad piece, and your dynamics were also that way. Um, what we can do to make it even better, like if you want to make it even better at this point, is to look at the form of the piece. And this is, I'm going to have a little bit more of like an S2 conversation with you guys today. Um, that way you guys get a little bit more advanced advice here. Now take a look at this. When you're playing the opening phrase goes from there all the way to here. And when I say by phrase, what do I mean? What does that mean, phrase? Do either of you know what that means? What is a phrase? Yeah, Thar?
Like, like when a certain number of notes are played together, which then is kind of like it's like a sentence.
Hmm. Yeah. So it for me it is a sentence. It's a musical sentence. That's my definition I use. Musical sentence. So what does that even mean? A musical sentence? Well, you kind of said a little bit of the definition in there. You said, well, it's a collection of notes that goes together, or like a certain number of notes that are played together. We're not going to get into the specifics of how we know that. but for now we can feel it. Now, wait a minute. Within that phrase, one thing that you should do if you're a good S2 student is to look at the phrase and say, well, what is the most interesting part or the climax of that 8-bar phrase? Now, where do you think it is? There are a couple good answers here. What do you think? Is it what measure would be the most interesting part that should be the loudest part for you? And don't worry about being wrong. It's just a guess, right? Yeah, that's for you, Thar.
I think the loudest part would probably be measure 3 or 4.
Okay, so are you doing piano and then like a mezzo forte here?
I'm doing like piano and then I'm like about mezzo forte and then I come back to piano at the end.
Okay, I like that. Okay, sure. Can we hear that one time? And Krutash, you're also gonna play this since this is also a piece you play. So try to think about that too. Where are your dynamic changes in the first phrase? Go ahead and play it for us, Thara, with that change. Yeah, lovely. Now, what happens if we don't do that? Here's an important question. You'll do this in a second, Krutash, but what happens if we just play piano the entire time? Why is that less ideal or not so good? And I'll let Krutash answer this. Why is that less good? I feel like you have a good answer here, Krutash.
Because if we play it only in piano, then the song will just feel plain.
Yeah, it'll feel a little bit boring, right? It's not breaking our expectation. So yeah, Thara, you want to add to it?
Kind of be like the same, but if you add dynamics, it'll sound more melodic.
More melodic, yeah, exactly. And the main thing is that it captures our attention because we don't expect that change. We don't expect that change. So now let's think about this here. What other ways could we change the dynamic plan? I'm not saying to change your dynamic plan, but what other ways could we? So far we have soft, loud, soft. And so that model, if we were to draw it, looks kind of like this. Right? Like this. Maybe get better drawing here. So I actually call that model the hill. Has a name. What else could we do besides the hill? Clara?
I guess it could do the plane, but that wouldn't work very well.
Yeah, but what other dynamic model could we use?
You could use you could go from piano to mezzo forte and then go to forte and then come back to mezzo forte.
Yeah, and that is called the climb. So I call that the climb when I'm teaching students about this idea of phrasing. Can we try that? Kurthash, you're going to play that. Show us the climb. Like if you just do that, what she just talked about.
Oh, I'll try that.
Okay, wait. It was very interesting what you did, but are we talking about pulse or are we talking about dynamics here?
Dynamic.
So we shouldn't change the tempo of the piece, right? Or the pulse. You did a da 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 da, unless that was like an internet thing. I heard like da 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 da. You played beautifully, and then measure 5. I heard da 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 da, or something like that, kind of sped up. Was that intentional or that was from the internet maybe?
That was intentional, I think.
Okay, so keep the same pulse. It's the same steadiness, but it's going to be louder. This is about dynamics. So this is like a graph. Like we made a graph of dynamics. And since you guys are in early S2, it's a good conversation point for you. So if this were a graph, have you guys seen graphs in school? Like graphing numbers and stuff like that? Yeah? Okay, great. So then in this case, you can think about this as a graph, a dynamics graph. And so on this y-axis, what we have is like P down here, then MF in the middle, and then maybe double F here, way up here. We're not going to make it to double F because it's too early in the piece. Okay. What else could we do? So we could just go the climb, like only louder. We could also go louder, softer. What else could we do? All right.
Do you go from softer to even softer?
That's the right principle, but what if you just started loud? What if you did the opposite of the climb? Right, you
Then
could
it
also
would
do that.
the valley.
That's the next one, but this is the descent. I call it descent. Um, and then yes, and then I call this the dip, like a dip. That would be loud, soft, loud. So all of these are very basic models in dynamics that we want to look at when we're building out our phrasing, because phrasing is a combination of dynamics and changes in pulse. So changes in dynamics and changes in pulse. We're having, like I said, we're having a little bit more of a mid-stage two conversation today, but I think both of you can handle it since both of you are very sharp. All right, with that information, think about that and see if you can use it to improve your dynamics. Kurtash, I'd like you to do the same thing here. Thinking about this, what dynamic model should we apply to the first 8 measures? There's nothing written here for us.
Probably,
I can put it back up.
yeah.
And there's not really a wrong answer here. It's just your opinion, but then
Maybe,
you should be able to do it.
maybe the dip.
Okay, let's try it. So then it'll be wait, let me draw it in for you. So it'll be like what, like MF here,
Yeah,
and then P,
yeah. P and then
and then like MF again.
yeah.
All right, let's try that. Yeah, the only thing I would change at the very end, if you look, Pritash, is I made a slight shift at the bottom. You see this? Oh, it's ever so slight here. So
Like make it
dun,
like
ba,
short,
da,
like
da, just
softer, like
at the
skinny at
very
the
end, like literally like the last 2 notes.
yeah. Maybe that would work better.
Yeah, I really liked what you did. I thought that was super interesting because I didn't expect you to go to piano when I was listening to it naturally. It didn't sound like it was going to go there. And so, although you knew that was going to happen, like a magician would know that the trick is going to go this way, you were like a a magical musician because what you were doing didn't wasn't expected by me as the audience. So anytime you can surprise your audience or change their expectation from what they perceive to being happening, you can really make them interested in what you're doing because you're breaking their expectation. So that's how we should look at dynamics as a way to express the music, but also as a way to surprise our audience, not necessarily with loud, but you can also surprise them with soft, like you did here. Okay. Something to think about, just like a food for thought. Thar, did you want to try? It just says melody.
So uh, this looks a little hard.
Okay, well, don't you give it a shot?
Um, okay.
Oh, just try the right hand, just the right hand.
Okay.
Good. Good job. Yeah, very nice. No, no, you're fine. That's fine. What I'm always impressed with when students can do it is I don't mind the mistakes. And Kritesh knows this since I work with him all the time. I just want to make sure that when we make mistakes, we're aware of them and that we correct them when we can. And so it's cool that you were able to correct your own mistakes. You even knew that you were playing the B natural instead of B flat. That was good. And I could tell you were trying to add the dynamics. So as late stage one, early stage two students, what you guys now need to be doing when you're playing is not just saying, "Hey, I just need to get the notes right and get the right rhythm and I'm done." No, no, the value of notes and rhythm will go way down over the course of the next few stages for you. So as you go through early stage two, mid stage two, the value of notes and rhythm and pulse will go way, way down. And the value of dynamics and articulation will go way, way up. Just like when you're a little kid and you learn about letters in elementary school, the value of letters to you now is very, very little, right? You're not thinking about letters when you're reading. You're also not thinking about words. You're thinking about the meaning behind those words and the stories that you're reading about. That's what's happening to you in music now. You're starting to look at the music and say, okay, how can I create meaning here behind the music music is really that meaning. It's not necessarily the sound, it's the meaning behind the sound. So what we're talking about today is how to add that in a performance setting, is using these phrasing models, whether through dynamics or eventually we'll talk about this through pulse. Okay. We're gonna finish there. I don't know what happened to Veronica, but you guys are all set. I don't want to take any more of your time. And I feel like you guys both had a really good thought process here that we talked through and played on changes in dynamics. So feel free to take that in and experiment with it. Don't worry about being right or wrong. Those are just models to help you think through how to make your music sound more interesting. All right. You guys are all set. Oh yeah, Thara, you had a question?
Thank you. I wrote it down so next time I could use it for my pieces.
Yeah, it's interchangeable. You can use it for any piece of music. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Thank you.